Now we can go for other basic terms. So which are those? Isotopes, isobars and isotones. So what are isotopes? So isotopes are nothing but these are the atoms of same element containing same number of protons but different number of neutrons. So we can consider the atoms are belonging to the same element. So how we can say they are belonging to same element means, so there are various elements in nature, they can exist in with the same atomic number but different mass number. So now we can start with very first example, that is hydrogen. So hydrogen in nature it can exist in the form of H11, H12 and H13. Of course, we can give the name for H11 as hydrogen itself. So what we can given the placement in the periodic table, that is hydrogen which is having atomic number 1 and mass number 1. So here it is named as protium, and in case it is having atomic number 1 and mass number 2, it is called as deuterium. And in case if hydrogen is having atomic number 1 and mass number 3, it is called as tritium. And among these three, we can just observe here, they are having same atomic number. Atomic number is same means they are having same number of protons. And mass number is different means they are having different number of neutrons. Hence, what are isotopes? These are the atoms of the same element containing same number of protons but different number of neutrons. So here we can say, so in H11, how we can calculate the number of neutrons? 1 minus 1, 0. Here there are no neutrons in H11. And in case of H12, 2 minus 1, 1. 1 neutron will be present in deuterium. And in case of H13, 3 minus 1, 2. 2 neutrons will be present in H13. Therefore, they are considered as isotopes. Then, next set of example. So, even carbon can exist in isotopic form in nature. So, like carbon 12, carbon 13 and carbon 14. But of course, here all the carbon atoms are having same atomic number 6. And here they are differing with their mass number. If the mass number is different, then they will differ in the number of neutrons. So, here that number of neutrons will be 12 minus 6, 6. And here number of neutrons will be increased by one number, that is 7. Here number of neutrons will be increased by one number, that is 8. So, they are having different number of neutrons. Hence, they are also considered as isotopes. And next other set of example is chlorine. Chlorine in nature it can exist in the form of 35 as well as 37. So, here chlorine 1735, we can guess that is the same number of protons will be present but different number of neutrons. So, here 35 minus 17, so we can say 18 neutrons will be there, and here we can say there will be increase in number by 35, it is 37, increase by number 2. Hence, here the number of neutrons will be equal to 18 and here number of neutrons will be 17, that is 37 minus 17, it will be equal to 20. So, they are differing in the number of neutrons. And if you go for next term, that is isobars. What are isobars? These are atoms of different elements which have the same mass number. Same mass number. So, of course, they are belonging to different elements means their atomic number will be different. So, here we can say that is we can consider carbon 614 and it is not carbon, nitrogen 714. So, here carbon and nitrogen they are different elements. Of course, they are having different atomic number but still they are having same mass number. Hence, we can say these are examples for isobars. So, what are isobars? These are the atoms of different elements which have same mass number. And one more term, that is isotones. What are isotones? These are the atoms of different elements which have the same number of neutrons. So, here the elements are different but they are still having the same number of neutrons. So, example we can consider here oxygen, nitrogen and here fluorine. Oxygen with atomic number 8, mass number 16. Nitrogen 7, 15. Fluorine 6, 14. So now they are having different number of protons. Their mass number is different. 16, it is 15, it is 14. But still they are having same neutrons. So 16 minus 8 is 8. So here there will be decrease in number by 1, increase in number by 1. Hence the difference will be same, that will be 8. Number of neutrons is 18, oxygen 8, 16. In nitrogen 7, 15, the difference is 8. Number of neutrons is 8. And 14 minus 6, you will get again 8. Hence these three examples, they have same number of neutrons. Hence these are called as isotopes. Now we can easily distinguish which are isotopes, which are considered as isobars, and which are considered as isotones. Now we can go for the next concept, that is regarding wave nature of light. So nimge light ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ. So either we can consider natural source of light, visible light. So sun rays. So you know that sun rays, it is white in color, but still it is containing 7 colors. That is Vibgaya, you know. So similarly, if you consider there will be emission of light from any bulb, that we can say whatever that these visible light rays which are emitted, so they will be having wave nature. That means that light rays which are emitted will be moving in the form of waves. So for example, ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಪಾಂಡಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟೋನ್ ಎಸಿತೀರಾ ಈಗ. ಸೊ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಆ ಸ್ಟೋನ್ ಸುತ್ತ ವಾಟ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ವೇವ್ಸ್, ಸರ್ಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ವೇವ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಮೂಮೆಂಟ್ ಹೇಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ದಟ್ ಸರ್ಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ವೇವ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಮೂವಿಂಗ್ ಅರೌಂಡ್ ದಟ್ ಸ್ಟೋನ್. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಇನ್ ದ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಫ್ ವೇವ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಅದೇ ಥರ ಈಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ದ ಸೈಂಟಿಸ್ಟ್ ಬೈ ನೇಮ್ ಹುಯ್ಗನ್, ಯಾರದು ಸೈಂಟಿಸ್ಟ್ ಹುಯ್ಗನ್. So what he proposed? He proposed that light travels in the form of waves. So Huygens ಪ್ರಕಾರ light rays waves form ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. So and the scientist by name James Clerk Maxwell, he also proposed that light, not only light source he will consider, but in addition he will consider other radiations which can propagate through space in the form of waves. ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಯಾವ್ದು ರೇಡಿಯೇಷನ್ಸು ನಿಮಗೆ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಈಗ ಸನ್ರೈಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಸನ್ರೈಸಲ್ಲಿ ವಿಸಿಬಲ್ ರೈಸ್ ಒಂದೇ ಇರಲ್ಲ, ಅಲ್ಟ್ರಾವೈಲೆಂಟ್ ರೈಸು ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಇನ್ಫ್ರಾರೆಡ್ ರೇಡಿಯೇಷನ್ಸು ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಈವನ್ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಅದರ್ ರೇಡಿಯೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಮೈಕ್ರೋವೇವ್ಸ್, isn't it? So X-rays, gamma rays. So all these are different kinds of radiations. So these different types of radiations, they also have the wave nature. It was proposed by whom? That is James Clerk. So now I will give one example. So now we can consider this is that representation of the movement of the radiation, either it is ordinary light rays or any other radiation. ಈಗ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ, ಇದೊಂದು ಆರಿಜಿನ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ನ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಲೈಟ್ ರೇಸ್ನ ಈ ಆರಿಜಿನ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟಿಂದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಇದು ಆರಿಜಿನ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್, ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಲೈಟ್ ಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿದೆ, ಸೊ ಈ ಪಾಯಿಂಟಿಂದ ಲೈಟ್ ರೇಸ್ ಪಾಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂತ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಸೊ ಯೂಶಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ಲೈಟ್ ರೇಸ್ ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಮೂವಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಸ್ಟ್ರೈಟ್ ಲೈನ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ, ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದಟ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರಾಪಗೇಷನ್. ಈ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಲೈಟ್ ರೇಸ್ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ಸೊ ನೌ in case if you consider this is the direction of propagation of any particular radiation, then they observed and they came to know that that radiation is also associated with waves. So ಈಗ ಒಂದು ವೇವ್ನ ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟ್ರೈಟ್ ಲೈನ್ ಅಂತ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಒಂದು ವೇವ್ ಯಾವುದಕ್ಕೆ ಈ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರಾಪಗೇಷನ್ಗೆ ಪರ್ಪೆಂಡಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆಗಿ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. For example, it will be up and down. That is, if it is a line of propagation, then that wave will be moving in the upside down direction. That is exactly perpendicular to the direction of propagation of the ray. So ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಈ ಸ್ಟ್ರೈಟ್ ಲೈನ್ ಅಂತ ಏನ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ರೈಟ್ ಆಂಗಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಒಂದು ವೇವ್ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. So that is having what type of field? Electric field. So that wave will be associated with electric field property. And another wave, set of wave that is perpendicular to the direction of propagation, at the same time it is perpendicular to the electric field component. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸೊ ಒಂದು ಅಪ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಡೌನ್ ಪ್ರಾಪಗೇಷನ್ ಮೂವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅನದರ್ ವೇವ್, it is moving in the left and right direction. ಅಗರ ಏನಾಯ್ತು, ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಕೆಳಗೆ ಆದ್ರೆ ಸೊ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ರೈಟ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ದಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ವೇವ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ perpendicular to one another. At the same time, these both magnetic field as well as electric field, they are also perpendicular to the direction of the propagation of the radiation. ಈಗ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು ಅನ್ಕೋತೀನಿ. ಸೊ ಯಾವುದೇ ರೇಡಿಯೇಷನ್ ಪ್ರಾಪಗೇಟ್ ಆದರೆ ಸ್ಪೇಸಲ್ಲಿ ಸೊ ಯಾವ ಫಾರ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾಪಗೇಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ, ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಫ್ ವೇವ್ಸ್. ದಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಎನಿ ರೇಡಿಯೇಷನ್ಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ಆರ್ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಟೆಡ್ ವಿತ್ both the electric field as well as magnetic field, such type of radiation will be considered as electromagnetic radiation. So that means you can consider either the light rays or the X-rays or gamma rays or any other rays like microwaves, radio waves. All these are said to be electromagnetic radiations because they contain both electric field component as well as magnetic field component. Then, now, according to the scientist by name James Maxwell, what he will consider? He will consider wave nature of electromagnetic radiations. What observations he is going to consider based on the wave nature of electromagnetic radiations? Very first, he will not only consider the light rays, he will consider even the electrically charged bodies or electrically charged particles. Then those electrically charged particles, if they are considering as emitting radiation, that is radiant energy, that radiation is nothing but radiant energy. It is one of the form of radiant energy. So those radiations emitted from electrically charged particles, they move under acceleration. So they will move under acceleration with alternating electrical and magnetic fields. And here we can consider whichever the radiations which are passing from the electrically charged particles, they are moving in the form of waves which are associated with electrical and magnetic fields, and they are said to be, they are produced and transmitted. They are moving in one particular direction which are perpendicular to one another. Then if you go for light waves, if you consider light waves, they are also associated with oscillating electric and magnetic character. Even the visible light rays, they are also moving in the form of waves which are nothing but they are associated with both electric field as well as magnetic field. Then if we say the radiations which are associated with both electric field and magnetic field, they are called as what? They are called as electromagnetic radiations. Electromagnetic radiations andre eno? It is one of the form of radiant energy emitted from electrically charged bodies or particles. So we can simply define this electromagnetic radiations as the radiations which are associated with both electric field and magnetic field, and they are propagating in the space. The radiations which are propagating in the space and which are associated with both electric field and magnetic field are called as electromagnetic radiations. So now I think you can easily remember what are electromagnetic radiations. Then if you go for the movement of these radiations, whatever that medium is required for this electromagnetic radiation. So here electromagnetic radiations, they even don't require any medium for their propagation. Even in vacuum also they can propagate. That means electromagnetic radiations can even move in vacuum. Without any medium also they can move in any direction. Then if you consider their traveling, that is speed of their or speed or the velocity we can consider. So they travel with a speed equal to the speed of the light. So what is the speed of light? ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ ಎಷ್ಟಿರುತ್ತೆ ಲೈಟ್ 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second. So even if you consider, even you can say in the vacuum also, they can just travel in vacuum with the same speed of the light, that is 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second. ಸೊ ಅದು ಯಾವ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರೋಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ರೇಡಿಯೇಷನ್ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಇನ್ ಜನರಲ್ ಆಲ್ different types of electromagnetic radiations, they will have the same speed that will be equal to that of the light. Then the energy of electromagnetic radiations is directly proportional to its frequency and inversely proportional to its wavelength. So I am going to give the explanation regarding what is meant by frequency and what is meant by wavelength. But only here you remember, so electromagnetic radiations, so ಯಾವುದಕ್ಕೆ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಪೋರ್ಷನಲ್ ಇದೆ? ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಏನು? ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆದರೆ ಎನರ್ಜಿನೂ, ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರೋಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ರೇಡಿಯೇಷನ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿನೂ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆದರೆ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ಲಿ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಗೋ ಫಾರ್ ವೇವ್ ಲೆಂತ್, ಸೊ ವೇವ್ ಲೆಂತ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಇನ್ವರ್ಸ್ಲಿ ಆಪೋಸಿಟ್. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ರಿವರ್ಸ್. ವೇವ್ ಲೆಂತ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆದರೆ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರೋಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ರೇಡಿಯೇಷನ್ ಏನಾಗಬೇಕು? ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಅದೇ ವೇವ್ ಲೆಂತ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆದರೆ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಆಫ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರೋಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ರೇಡಿಯೇಷನ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Like it will be vice versa. So it will be quite opposite with respect to frequency and with respect to wavelength. So that is regarding wave nature of electromagnetic radiations. These hints or characteristics were given by whom? The scientist by name James Maxwell. Now we can consider the next definition with respect to spectrum. That is what spectrum? Electromagnetic spectrum. So now we can say that. So what are electromagnetic radiations? Radiations which are associated with both electric field and magnetic field, and they propagate in space. And if you say electromagnetic spectrum, so here you can get the term spectrum. So what is this spectrum actually? So ನೀವು ರೈನ್ಬೋ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ನೋಡಿರ್ತೀರ. ಸೊ ಯೂಶಲಿ ಡೇ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವಾಗ ಬಿಸಿಲಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಜೊತೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮಳೆ ಬೀಳ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಲೈಕ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಡ್ರಿಸ್ಲಿಂಗ್. ಸೊ ಆಗೇನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಸ್ಕೈಯಲ್ಲಿ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ವೆರಿ ಬ್ಯೂಟಿಫುಲ್ rainbow. So that rainbow contains what? Rainbow contains 7 colors. Which are those different 7 colors? That is nothing but VIBGYOR. We can call the name as, that is abbreviated as VIBGYOR. What this VIBGYOR stands for? Violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red. So you can find the merging of violet with indigo color, indigo with blue color, blue then in continuity with green, green in continuity with yellow, then after yellow it is continued with orange, then orange with red color. So you can find the different band of 7 colors, that is nothing but VIBGYOR. Now how you are going to get this VIBGYOR formation or rainbow formation? So even we can consider the same VIBGYOR band with the help of ordinary light rays also. We can say, you can take any bulb which is a source of light. That bulb which is emitting any light, that is made to pass through a slit. Through that slit, whatever the dense light is formed, that dense light of beam is made to pass through a prism. Once that white light rays hit this prism, then it will undergo dispersion. So there will be spreading of the different colored radiations with different wavelengths. Then it is helping for bending of these different colored wavelengths radiations. Now once through this prism, again they come back, that is come outside. Whatever that photographic plate will be kept for observation, there on that photographic plate we can find different colored bands which is containing 7 colors. So successively we can find VIBGYOR. ಈಗ ಆ ಲೈಟ್ ರೇಸ್ ಏನು ಪ್ರಿಸಮ್ ಇಂದ ಪಾಸ್ ಆಗತ್ತೆ, ಒನ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರಿಸಮ್ ಪಾಸ್ ಆದಾಗ ಮೀಡಿಯಂ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗತ್ತೆ. ಯಾವುದೇ ಲೈಟ್ ರೇಸು ಮೀಡಿಯಂ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆದಾಗ ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಸ್ಪರ್ಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಗೋ ಬೆಂಡಿಂಗ್. ಸೊ ಡ್ಯೂ ಟು ದ ಬೆಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ದ different color radiations, it will consider the phenomenon called as dispersion. So due to the bending of the waves, when they change the medium, it causes dispersion and the result in the formation of the 7 colored band, which is nothing but called as spectrum. When a narrow beam of sunlight is passed through a prism, if you consider sun rays itself, when it is made to pass through a prism, then it gets dispersed into set of 7 colors of different wavelengths. So due to the difference in their wavelength, during the bending from one medium to the another medium, it causes the separation of different colored radiations. Hence we are going to get the formation of rainbow. So that is nothing but, now we came to know that how we are going to get the formation of the spectrum. And if we consider the same spectrum with respect to electromagnetic radiations, whenever you can consider different types of radiations other than visible radiations, ನಮಗೆ ಕಣ್ಣಿಗೆ ಕಾಣಿಸೋದು ವಿಸಿಬಲ್ ರೇಡಿಯೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಮಾತ್ರ. ನಮಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ರೇಸ್ ಕಾಣಿಸತ್ತಾ? ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅಲ್ಟ್ರಾವೈಲೆಂಟ್ ರೇಸ್ ಕಾಣಿಸತ್ತಾ? ಇಲ್ಲ. ಇನ್ಫ್ರಾರೆಡ್ ರೇಡಿಯೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಕಾಣಿಸತ್ತಾ? ಇಲ್ಲ. ದಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ we are able to identify only with the limited range of wavelengths. ನಮಗೆ ಯಾವ ರೇಡಿಯೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಕಣ್ಣಿಗೆ ಕಾಣಿಸುತ್ತೆ? That is the wavelength which ranges between the 400 nanometer to 760 nanometer. What is the wavelength range of visible light radiation means? You remember, it will be ranged between 400, n stands for nano, 10 power minus 9 nanometer to 760 nanometer. Here we have arranged a different set of radiations. ಯಾವ radiations ಬರ್ದಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ? Visible radiations ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ. So next to visible radiations on right hand side, infrared region, microwaves, radio waves. Then before this visible, ultraviolet, then violet radiation, X-rays, gamma rays and cosmic rays. Now we can say in the sun rays it contains visible rays, in including that even it contains ultraviolet rays as well as infrared radiations. Now we can guess there will be arrangement of different types of radiations. Here I have mentioned the scale. So with respect to the scale, here we can consider it is wavelength, that is considered in terms of meter, and here above scale it is with respect to frequency. Here you can measure that frequency in terms of hertz also. Now as you can guess here, wavelength ಇದು ಮೀಟರ್ ಅಂತ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ 10 ಪವರ್ ಮೈನಸ್ 16 ಮೈನಸ್ 14 ಮೈನಸ್ 12 ಮೈನಸ್ 10 ಮೈನಸ್ 8 ಮೈನಸ್ 4 ಮೈನಸ್ 2 0 2 4 ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ? as we move towards right hand side, there will be increase in the wavelength. So we have arranged different electromagnetic radiations in the increasing order of their wavelength. wavelength consider ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ increasing order ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅರೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ. If we go for frequency consider ಮಾಡಿ left hand side ಇಂದ right hand side ಗೆ ಹೋದ್ರೆ 10 power 26 23 20 17 14 11 8 5 ಏನಾಗ್ತಿದೆ? ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. In case if we consider the frequency, we have arranged different electromagnetic radiations in the decreasing order of their frequency. wavelength ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ increasing order consider ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. frequency ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ decreasing order ನ consider ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. Therefore, what is that simple definition you are going to give for electromagnetic spectrum? What is meant by electromagnetic spectrum? It is the arrangement of different types of electromagnetic radiations in the increasing order of their wavelengths or decreasing order of their frequencies. That means electromagnetic spectrum is nothing but it is the arrangement of different electromagnetic radiations either in the increasing order of their wavelength or in decreasing order of their frequency. That is nothing but electromagnetic spectrum. Now we can easily guess for any given set of radiations, as there is increase in the wavelength, there will be decrease in the frequency. ಯಾವ ರೇಡಿಯೇಷನ್ಗೆ ವೇವ್ಲೆಂತ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೋ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಆಪೋಸಿಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ? ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ನಾವು ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಗೆಸ್ 10 ಪವರ್ ಮೈನಸ್ 16 ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಸೈಡಿಗೆ ಬನ್ನಿ. 10 ಪವರ್ ಮೈನಸ್ 16 ಇದೆ, ವೇವ್ಲೆಂತ್ ತುಂಬ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಬೇರೆದಕ್ಕೆ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ. ಸೊ ಬಟ್ ಅದರ ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ? ತುಂಬ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದೆ. The radiation which has got maximum wavelength, minimum wavelength or least wavelength has got maximum frequency. Higher the frequency, lesser the wavelength. In opposite direction, extreme right hand side, radio waves we can consider. 10 power 4, there is actually increase, it has got maximum wavelength. Once there is a increase in the wavelength, it has got maximum wavelength, it has got least frequency. Among these set of radiations, which has got highest frequency? Either it is cosmic rays or radio waves. That is 10 power 26 is very much higher. Hence, cosmic rays have got highest frequency and least wavelength. Whereas, radio waves have got very least frequency but highest wavelength. So, that is vice versa with respect to frequency and wavelength. So, frequency ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ wavelength ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. And now we can guess. If you go for that our visible radiations, we can say these visible radiations contains 7 different colors. What is that range I have mentioned here? 400 nanometer to 760 nanometer. That means 400 is least number and 760 is maximum number, highest number. Now highest value 760 nanometer, least value 400 nanometer. Now we can easily guess which has got the highest frequency and least frequency among visible radiations. The color which has got highest wavelength has got least frequency. So red color ge wavelength maximum ide, frequency least ide. Ade violet color ge wavelength tumba kadame ide, frequency ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. So in VIBGYOR, which has got highest frequency, violet color, which has got least frequency, red color, and which has got highest wavelength, red color, which has got the least wavelength, that is violet. That is how we can simply guess the one radiation which has got a highest wavelength will automatically will have least frequency, and with the help of the given set of values, even you can easily compare whether they are having highest wavelength or least wavelength, whether they are having higher energy or least energy. As I told you before, energy depends directly proportional to frequency and inversely proportional to wavelength. Based on the frequency value and the wavelength, even you can consider whether they are having higher energy or least energy. So, ಯಾವುದಕ್ಕೆ frequency ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ energy ಕೂಡ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. So, that is regarding electromagnetic spectrum and the spectrum with respect to visible radiations. Now, I think you can easily compare the different set of radiations with respect to their frequency, energy, wavelengths based on their values. Usually, frequency will be given in terms of hertz and here the wavelength will be given in terms of nanometers. After learning about electromagnetic radiations, we can learn about what are the characteristics of different types of radiations. To know about any radiation, so we can characterize based on the simple terms. Which are those simple terms which are used to characterize any radiation? They are wavelength, frequency, velocity and wave number. So, ಈ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನಾವು ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ರೇಡಿಯೇಷನ್ದು ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರಿಸ್ಟಿಕ್ಸ್ನ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ ದಟ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರಿಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ರಿಗಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ವೇವ್ ಲೆಂತ್. So now we can go for one ordinary radiation. We can take any particular radiation. Here we can start with this is the origin point. So ಈಗ ಒಂದು ವೇವ್ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗೋಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಇದು ಆರಿಜಿನ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್. ಇದು ಈ ವೇವ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ನೋಡಿ. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಮೂವಿಂಗ್ ಅಪ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಡೌನ್ ಹಿಯರ್. ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸೇ it is perpendicular, it is moving in one exact or particular direction, then that wave will be perpendicular to the propagation of, that is direction of propagation of any wave with respect to radiation. ಈಗ ವೇವ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಕೆಳಗೆ, that means it is moving up and down perpendicular to the direction of propagation we can say. ಈಗ ಈ ವೇವ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮೇಲೆಯಿಂದ, ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆರಿಜಿನ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಇಂದ ಮೇಲೆ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಯಾವ ಪ್ರಾಪಗೇಷನ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ರೀಚ್ ಆದರೆ ಇದು ಹಾಫ್ ಸೈಕಲ್ ಅಂತ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಮತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಪ್ರಾಪಗೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಆ ಲೈನಿಂದ ಮತ್ತೆ ಕೆಳಗೆ ಬಂದು ಮತ್ತೆ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರಾಪಗೇಷನ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ರೀಚ್ ಆದರೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಹಾಫ್ ಸೈಕಲ್ ಆಯಿತು. ಹಾಗಾದರೆ ವೇವ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಯಿತು. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಮೂವಿಂಗ್ ಅಪ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಗೈನ್ ಮೂವಿಂಗ್ ಡೌನ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ರೀಚಿಂಗ್ ಟು ದ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೈಟ್ ಲೈನ್. This will consider as one cycle of wave. Agar ಎಷ್ಟು cycle of wave will consider ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ನೀವು, as it is given in the picture. 1 cycle, 2 cycles and 3 cycles I have mentioned here. Then the peaks here, what you can find, the peaks of these waves will be considered as crest, whereas the depth of these waves will be considered as troughs. So there will be presence of both crest as well as troughs. Now once you consider two adjacent crests, ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಎರಡು adjacent crest ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಏನು ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಆ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ನ ವೇವ್ ಲೆಂತ್ ಅಂತ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. Either we can consider the distance between two adjacent crests. Similarly, even we can consider the distance between the two adjacent troughs, not alternating troughs, two adjacent troughs. That will be considered as wavelength. What is the definition for wavelength? It is the distance between the two adjacent crests or troughs, that is two adjacent troughs of a wave, and they are indicated by the symbol. It is named as lambda. Lambda. So that means what is that symbol used for representing wavelength? That is represented by lambda. And what is of course the unit for measurement of this wavelength? That is given in terms of nanometer. That is abbreviated as nm. That is small n stands for 10 power minus 9. Therefore 1 nanometer is equal to 10 power minus 9 meter. Similarly, 1 nanometer can also be corresponding to equal to 10 angstrom. You can change the scale if you can convert angstroms into nanometer and even nanometers into angstroms. Like that, by considering the exact value, and even we can give the unit for the measurement of the wavelength. ಈಗ wavelength ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಲ್ಲ? Wavelength is nothing but it is a distance between two adjacent crests or adjacent troughs of a wave. Then, if you go for next characteristic, that is explained based on the frequency. Frequency andre ಏನು? It is the number of times of a wave passing through a given point in 1 second. Here we can guess this is one wave. So it is 2, it is 3 cycles are there. Here it is the number of times a wave. So it is the origin point. ಈ origin point ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಎಷ್ಟು cycles pass ಆಗಿದೆ? What is that given time? In 1 second. So exactly 1 second ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು cycles pass ಆಗತ್ತೆ ಒಂದು particular origin point ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಅದನ್ನು frequency ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. So frequency is nothing but it is the number of times of a wave passing through a given point in 1 second. Here if you consider the same example here, how many cycles have passed here? 1, 2, 3. So 3 cycles per second we can write. The frequency for this wave 3 cycles per second, or hertz we can write. Got it? So hertz is exactly equal to per second. That is, see, we can say frequency in terms of cycles per second. That is, cycles per second is nothing but we can say hertz is also exactly equal to second inverse. 1 hertz is equal to per second. Then it is the number of times of a wave passing through a given point in 1 second. What is the symbol used for this frequency? It is named as nu. So for wavelength, the symbol is named as lambda. For frequency, the symbol is named as nu. Then here we can take what is that unit of measurement? As I told you, it is measured in terms of hertz. It is also equal to second inverse. Got it? And if you go for the next characteristic, which is that next characteristic, velocity ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. So velocity ಗೆ ಯಾವ symbol use ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ? Small c. We can represent even that velocity as small v, and here we can represent it as small c. It is the distance traveled by a wave in 1 second. Now if we consider in 1 second it is traveling this distance. So we can say velocity means it is the distance traveled by a wave in 1 second. If you say, if it is one wave, it is traveling the distance of 1 meter. From this point to this point, it is traveling of the distance 1 meter. For crossing this 1 meter, it is taking 1 second, means its velocity will be equal to 1 meter per second. If it is just traveling 2 meters in 1 second, then its unit will be 2 meter per second. Like that we can simply say that it is exactly the distance traveled by a wave in 1 second, not 1 hour. It is 1 second. Hence, what is that unit of measurement? It is given as the symbol velocity c, and here of course we can say meter per second. Then another characteristic, that is wave number. Here I have used the same symbol nu, but above this nu I have marked that slash. It is considered as nu bar. I have written bar above nu, hence it is called as nu bar. Then what is actually wave number? Wave number, it is nothing but reciprocal of the wavelength. Wave number is nothing but reciprocal of wavelength. Now we can guess. Reciprocal means nu bar is equal to 1 by lambda. ಈಗ ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ವೇವ್ ಲೆಂತ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆದಷ್ಟು ವೇವ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ವೇವ್ ಲೆಂತ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆದಷ್ಟು ವೇವ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Now we can guess nu bar is equal to 1 by lambda. And here of course that unit for lambda will be equal to nanometer. So then you can get that same value with respect to per meter you will get. Nano will be nothing but 10 power minus 9. When you move to the numerator, it will become plus 9. Got it? So that is regarding wave number. Then by considering these factors like characteristics like wavelength, frequency, velocity, here we can give the relationship. They can ask in examination, very important question and very simple question. Give the expression for relating velocity, frequency and wavelength. Or what is the relationship between velocity, frequency and wavelength? If they ask for 1 mark, then you will write that simple equation. And you can write that simple equation means velocity c is equal to frequency nu into wavelength, that is lambda. It is the relationship between velocity, frequency and lambda. You have to first write this expression, then beside to this expression you should mention where c is equal to velocity. Here I have already mentioned, no need to write. So c is equal to velocity. C is equal to velocity. And what this nu stands for? Frequency. Frequency. And of course what this lambda stands for? Wavelength. Wavelength. ಹಾಗಾದರೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ವೇವ್ಗೆ ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ ನೀವು ಫೈಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಈ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬಹುದು. ಸೊ ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್ ದಿಸ್ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ, by substituting the value of frequency and wavelength, you can calculate the velocity. Similarly, if you want to find out frequency ಕಂಡುಹಿಡಿಯಬೇಕು, ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ wavelength value ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, velocity value ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. Then how come you can calculate nu, that is frequency? Nu is equal to, if you alter this equation, you know that c is equal to nu lambda. Therefore nu is equal to, if you write the c on right hand side, lambda will become, that is it is shifted to the denominator, that is nothing but nu is equal to c by lambda. So you can easily find out the nu value by taking the same expression, nu is equal to c by lambda. Similarly, in case in the given problem they have mentioned the c value, velocity value, frequency value, then you need to find out lambda, wavelength. How you can calculate? Very simple. You can alter this equation. Lambda is equal to c by nu. That is how, with the help of the simple expression, you can calculate either velocity or frequency or wavelength. So that is regarding characteristic of any electromagnetic radiation, that is characteristic of wave, nature of any radiant energy. Now we can exactly remember what is the definition for wavelength, what is the definition for frequency, what is the definition for velocity, and what is the definition for wave number. And of course one more term you can remember, that is nothing but amplitude. The height of any crest or trough will be considered as amplitude. Amplitude. The height of any crest or trough will be nothing but it is called as amplitude. Got it? And here what I mentioned before, there will be relationship between frequency and wavelength. As there will be increase in the wavelength, then there will be decrease in the frequency. Wave ಲೆಂತು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆದಷ್ಟು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ವೇವ್ಸ್ ಪಾಸ್ ಆಗೋದು 1 ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ಗೆ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗೇನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಯಾವಾಗ ವೇವ್ ಲೆಂತ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಆಟೋಮೆಟಿಕ್ ಆಗಿ ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಮೋರ್ ದ ವೇವ್ ಲೆಂತ್, ಲೆಸರ್ ದ ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ. ಇನ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಇಫ್ ದರ್ ಈಸ್ ವೇವ್ ಲೆಂತ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ವೆರಿ ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಿಸ್, ಈಗೇನಾಯಿತು, ವೇವ್ ಲೆಂತ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗೋಯ್ತು. ಅವಾಗೇನಾಯಿತು, ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಸೈಕಲ್ಸ್ ಪಾಸಿಂಗ್ ಥ್ರೂ ಎ ಗಿವನ್ ಆರಿಜಿನ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಪರ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಮೋರ್. ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ನಾವು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ವೇವ್ ಲೆಂತ್ ತುಂಬ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇದೆ. ಅದೇ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಮೆಜರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಐ ಆಮ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಟೇಕಿಂಗ್ ದಿಸ್, ಈಗೇನಾಯಿತು, ವೇವ್ ಲೆಂತ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಯಿತು. ವೇವ್ ಲೆಂತ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆದಾಗ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ವೇವ್ಸ್ ಪಾಸಿಂಗ್ ಥ್ರೂ ಗಿವನ್ ಆರಿಜಿನ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಪರ್ 1 ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಯಿತು. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಕಂಪೇರ್ that how that wavelength depends on frequency, how they are related to one another. Higher the wavelength, lesser the frequency, and vice versa. Here we have objective questions. You should be ready to give me the answer very quickly as soon as possible. I hope you can give. Very first question, which is that first question. Identify isotopes in the following set of examples. First you should know what is meant by isotopes. These are the elements of or atoms of same element which are having same atomic number but different mass number. As you can say, one is prefix and the one is suffix. Here prefix is atomic number, suffix is mass number. Hydrogen, carbon, they are considered as a same element or different element. They are different elements, so we can't consider this the right option. A is wrong option. B, if you move on to B, option B, it is carbon, it is hydrogen. No way, they are connected as isotopes. If you go for third option, of course they belong to same element, carbon, carbon. Atomic number 6, 6, but mass number different, 12 and 13. Since they are having same atomic number but different mass number belonging to same element, carbon, the third option is the right option. And even you can check for the fourth option, what they have given. They belong to different elements. One is helium and the one is chlorine. They are no way connected to isotopes. So very first question, which is the right option? Option C is the right option. Then if you go for second question, what is that second question? The speed of electromagnetic radiation in vacuum is, as I told you before, what is the speed of light? 3 into 10 power 8 meters per second. If you consider any electromagnetic radiation like visible rays, gamma rays, alpha rays, any rays, all these different types of electromagnetic radiations, they have got same speed of light, that is 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second. Even they are able to pass in the absence of any medium, that is vacuum. So here they have mentioned the speed of electromagnetic radiation in vacuum is, which is that first option, less than the speed of light? No way, it is wrong option. More than the speed of light? So it is also wrong option. Option C, equal to speed of light. Exactly, this is the right answer. Of course, option D, none of this. Which is that right answer? Option C is the right answer. Then, if you go for next third question, identify the wrong statement in the following. So, you should be observing keenly each and every sentence. You go through once or twice, then you should understand the meaning of the sentence. Then only you should opt for the correct option. Don't be in hurry to read the question and don't be in hurry to read the statements. What is that first statement here? The radiation of a charged particle is associated with electric field. So any charged particle, it will be having radiant energy in the form of radiation that will be moving in the form of waves. Those waves, whether they are containing electric field or not, yes, electric field will be present. Then the radiation of charged particle is associated with magnetic field. Of course, even the waves are also containing magnetic field. Then the magnetic field is perpendicular to electric field for a radiation. What are the waves you can consider? One is moving up and down. If you consider that is electric field is moving in upward and downward direction, and exactly that magnetic field will be moving left and right, that is perpendicular to the electric field. Hence, they are perpendicular to each other. This is also right statement. And then if you go for option D, the electric field is not perpendicular to direction of propagation of radiation. Is it correct? No way. whatever the direction of propagation is considered with respect to radiation to this direction of propagation, exactly at right angle the wave will be moving. Got it? Hence, the electric field is perpendicular to direction of propagation, but here what they have mentioned, the electric field is not perpendicular to direction of propagation. This is the wrong statement, but it is the right option. Statement is wrong, but of course statement is, that is, option is right, because they are asking for identify the wrong statement, not the right statement. Wrong statement you should recognize. So fourth option is the right option. Then next question, the relationship between velocity, frequency and wavelength is. You should remember what is the symbol for velocity? C. Symbol for frequency nu, and symbol for wavelength lambda. Here you can check very first A. We can relate that nu is equal to C into lambda. No, it is wrong option. Lambda is equal to C into nu. It is also wrong option. Option C. C is equal to nu lambda. So this is the right expression. And if you go for option D, C is equal to nu by lambda. These options are wrong except this option C is the right expression. Hence, option C is the right answer. You can opt for option C. Then, one more question you can try. Identify correct option. Again, you should be keen observer. You should just thoroughly go through the sentence, what they have given in the statements. First statement, wavelength of visible rays is lesser than that of ultraviolet. For that, you should remember the electromagnetic spectrum. Center you will get visible rays, and right hand side you will get infrared rays. Then we can consider, end up with the last, that is with respect to, we can easily guess microwaves, cosmic rays. Then even you can consider gamma rays, isn't it? Cosmic rays comes to the left hand side, radio waves comes to the right hand side, extreme right hand side of the spectrum. And now of course we can go for the first. Wavelength of visible rays is lesser than that of ultraviolet rays. First of course you should remember which will come right hand side. Here wavelength of visible rays is lesser. Actually visible rays come to the right hand side. Ultraviolet rays comes to the left hand side. So visible rays should have higher wavelength, but here they have mentioned they are having lesser wavelength. Hence, option A is, it is wrong statement. Then, wavelength of radio waves is lesser than that of cosmic rays. As I told you before, cosmic rays come to the extreme left hand side of electromagnetic spectrum. Radio waves comes to the extreme right hand side of electromagnetic spectrum. So, radio waves should have highest wavelength, but here what they have mentioned, wavelength of radio waves is lesser than that of cosmic rays. Hence, this option is also wrong. The next statement, frequency of violet is lesser than that of red color. So, we can say Vibgayar. Wavelength of red is highest, that is violet is least. Here what they have mentioned, frequency. As I told you before, highest wavelength with least frequency. Least wavelength, highest frequency. So, violet should be having highest frequency and red should be having least frequency. Then frequency of violet is lesser than that of red color. No, it is wrong option. Last but not least, frequency of red color is lesser than that of violet. Yes, of course, red is having highest wavelength, but its frequency is less compared to that of violet. Hence, frequency of red color is lesser than that of violet. It is the correct statement, right statement. Then you should identify correct option. So, this is the right option, option D. Likewise, if you go through the concepts very much clearly, then you can easily opt for correct answers without any confusions.